Welcome to the Dubai Shopping Festival. You're watching Two and a Half Men. It happens to be on Cricbuzz. This day is about rich men and women sitting on tables and bidding for big players, maybe some unknown ones as well.
Did he just call one of us half?
Yeah.
Can you imagine the arrogance of the anchor?
After so many years.
Guess half after all these years
All
of us
these
working on
years,
Cricbuzz,
exactly.
I'm offended at the start.
So while you are the world's #1 anchor, acting is not your strong suit, sir. Sir, 2.5, sir.
कौन आप?
मैं और क्या? आप टैलेंट देख लो, बैंक बैलेंस देख लो, हाइट देख लो, हर मामले में सर आधा मामला है.
बैंक बैलेंस
आधी हो गई?
ऑब्जेक्शन.
मेरे से आधी हो गई तुम्हारी बैंक बैलेंस?
आधे से भी कम होगा सर, कुछ परसेंटेज होगा.
मजाक कर रहा हूं.
But look, for the next 1 hour, we'll give you all that you need to know about the auctions. As I said, this is about rich men and women, rich companies bidding for players. Two very rich men in the studio as well, rich in terms of their knowledge, their insights, the stories, the anecdotes they have. My job is very easy today. All I have to do is just press buttons like a jukebox and out come those stories. They'll come out tumbling. Mr. Bhogle and Mr. Bhattacharjya, two auction experts. Big day. It is a mini auction, but lots of mega names up for grabs as well. Let's get things going by telling our viewers what you're expecting from this mini auction.
I'm expecting a few high-value, irrational buys because there's a lot of money. It's one of those rare occasions where there's a lot of money chasing relatively fewer players. And so there'll be a lot of people who will say, just in time for Christmas.
77 spots up for grabs. Apparently 1,165 players enter the auction.
Effectively, about 250 crores chasing 30-35 players.
Wow. Joy, it's going to be IPL number 17. Is it still a vanity exercise, or are teams far better prepared, or can they get swayed by emotion in the middle of a crazy auction?
So first thing, you record what Harsha said. Lot of money chasing a few players. This you can play out every mini auction. You can play it out. Okay, that every year this is the case.
Basically saying, "Wo ek ghasi piti baat fir
Today
everyone is sledging me."
It's the truth. Always it happens. Again, I look at it as this is like the IAS mains. So in the mains, so many 1,100 odd players sat. 233 have managed to make it to the prelims, and now about 77. Less than 77 perhaps, I don't think everyone finished the quota. So 22% will make it past this interview. This is literally the interview stage. And I exactly think that you have a situation where I also think, Harsha, it depends on where the teams are in their life cycle. So different teams are looking at situations differently. So a team like Mumbai is clearly saying nothing more than less than a championship is mine. Other teams might also be saying that, dude, if I get into the top 4, I haven't been a top 4 team for a while. I haven't been a serious contender for a while. Let me at least reach there. Let me build for the next 2, 3, 4 years. So different teams with different situations. And again, what has also happened is while you're seeing players being chased around, what is more fascinating for me is that even the cast of this auction has been moved around. You've had Andy Flower go and become the Flomo show in Bangalore, okay? And you've got, Vettori has moved, okay?
Bayliss has moved, Vettori has moved, Flower has moved,
So and Gautam Gambhir coming to KKR, there's a huge difference in the way they look.
It's like Mourinho, Pochettino. There's one group of 4 or 5 managers who you keep picking from in the Premiership. More and more IPL look like Premiership, picking up players.
Yes, the numbers are getting there as well. Slowly, which team stands where? Gujarat Titans, very similar bank balance to Mr. Bhogle here. The richest team, champions once, runners-up once. That's where they are. Gujarat minus Hardik Pandya have the most amount of money left, 38.15 CR. They can fill as many as 8 slots, 2 of which are overseas. Now, take a look at Lucknow. Just 13.15, and they could fill as many as 6. KKR, meanwhile, have 32.7 and they need to fill 12. They could fill 12. Which team is the most desperate for you, Joy, here?
Look, different kinds of desperation. I think for somebody like a Gujarat, you take out a player like a Hardik Pandya, you're replacing a lot. However, I say that impact is also, it's 75% of the impact it would have been had the impact player rule not been there. Yep. Remember, that has made a bit of a difference. Like, it is easier to replace Hardik now with impact players and using them than it used to be. But it still is a huge impact. They have a lot of money. They have less players to buy. So I think they will, if they're clear about who they want, there's nobody who can stop them.
Yep.
Because remember one more thing. What we're looking at is available slots. nobody needs to fill all those slots. I mean, Kolkata needs to fill quite a few, but most of the teams don't need to reach that number of, fill all their slots available.
But the fact that it's going to be a one-year contract, next year we will have the mega auction, how much does that impact what teams will do? Will they be less desperate?
Tactical buys this year, but we are a multi-billion-dollar enterprise that has no idea what it is going to do 6 months from now. So 12 months from now, okay, not 12, 10 months from now, are we going to have a mega auction? If you are going to have a mega auction, then you're looking at, as we were discussing with Joy, then you're looking at buying players you can retain.
Yeah.
You don't know the purse is going to be. Is the purse going to be 150 crores at the mega auction? So because of that uncertainty, my feeling is there'll be tactical buys and with a little sideways glance at retention for next year.
Yep.
Absolutely. And different teams have different, life cycles in that. So if I look at my squad and I say, clearly there are at least 3 Indians and 1 international I want to retain, I'm reasonably sure of the 4 I want, then maybe I will not look at promise so much from the distance. I'll look at satisfying this year's need.
They'll be looking at player age as well.
Yes. Whereas if I'm looking and saying that, look, you know what, there are about a couple of Indian players I'm taking, but I'm not sure that these international players or these Indian players I'm going to retain for the next 3-4 years. Then I'm saying, who are those young guns that I'm going to take on? Who is the next, let me put it bluntly, who's the next Shubman Gill?
Yep.
Who's the guy I'm going to buy who's going to be suddenly this rock star performer in 3 years' time, who I can retain? So these are very different ways of looking at it. And teams in different times of their life cycle or depending on the players they already have will look at this auction differently.
Well, also the personalities of those on the auction table will have an impact as well. We'll talk about that with Joy in just a bit. But who are the big stars that could get a lot of big money? Let's take a look at some of the names that can attract a lot of big bids. I'd like to see Taylor Swift here. Harsha, she's not there.
No, she's busy practicing bowling like Kuldeep Yadav. No, most seriously, mid-Stark, yes, will attract huge bids. If I was at the auction table, there'd be 9 teams going hard. Because with mid-Stark, look, this is not the mid-Stark of 14, 15, 16. This is mid-Stark who's older. He's not the destroyer who can come in and bat at 6, 7 if required. Maybe he'll rediscover that.
Yep.
I don't know if he's going to be available to me next year.
Yep.
And I hope he's going to come.
Does the bride want to get married this year?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. He's a Julia Roberts of our auction. Every year he promises and every year he doesn't turn up. So
it's happened to me many times, sir.
Who is going to be the Richard Gere of our auction is the question.
You're right.
Which of these franchises?
I mean, people promise don't turn up, sir. I've been stood up many times. But here he is. Base price of 2 CR.
We are not going any further.
Back after 8 years, 34 years of age. Does that have an impact on whether teams will go big? If yes, how big will they go? He's back after 8 years, plus the heat of April and May in India.
True, but I'll tell you what they're looking at is mid-Stark is a great buy for guys who are saying one and done.
Yep.
One and
Correct.
done. Can he take me to a championship? Is he the difference between my reaching a semi-final and a championship? He is definitely. He is a difference maker. He can make that kind of a difference.
Yep.
So if I'm a team who's looking at that, I'll take a punt on him. But mid-Stark at that age, you're not thinking of a 3-year retention policy with him.
No.
You're thinking now.
Also, if I'm getting mid-Stark at 8-10 crores, I'm jumping in. But that's not going to happen. So the moment mid-Stark goes to 16, 17, 18 crores, I'm starting to see, what does that mean for the rest of my side?
Yeah.
So for the rest of my side, suppose a week before the IPL, with anybody who costs 17, 18 crores, you could do what a Ben Stokes at CSK. Suddenly I'm injured. I've lost my 16, 18 crores. I've lost all the fast bowlers that were available. And I don't have much purse left. So I would not have had much purse left to make other tactical buys. So I would be very wary of going after 18, 19 crore buys. But I would know that there are 3 or 4 teams in here at the auction table who like shopping in mega malls. who like
Which
who
mall
like
do you
being
go to?
photographed
Exactly.
outside a boss in Armani, but who like being photographed there. So you might get those people going after him anyway. I would look at it a little more tactically.
थोड़ा middle class बनना पड़ता है सोच समझ के.
मैं सोचूंगा कि 2 for the price of 1 मिल रहा है कहीं.
See who Gujarat won it with. Lamborghinis and all are not always necessary. You can have a good Indian car which does well.
Or Chennai.
Or Chennai.
Or Chennai.
There was, it was a Lamborghini. It's no longer.
Or RR season 1.
Tactically, correct. Tactically, MS Dhoni runs that side. He's brilliant. I think Ashwin had the best expression, best description of MS Dhoni. He said he's like he's a film director, casting director. So he writes that script and says, okay, for this kind of role, who's best for me? And he just fills roles. Which is the way to go about it. I think a well-led, well-run, tactically astute T20 team will beat a team full of big names.
Can I just take up on this point? On KKR, that's the one thing we did in 2011 that we changed as an auction. We didn't put player names down. We said...
Like we went clusters.
Yeah, we said opening batsman, Indian...
Here are 5 names.
Yeah, opening batsman, keeper. Indian opening batsman, keeper.
Yep.
Names. And anyone, the best name in this list that we get, fast bowler, international fast bowler. This is the list. There were only 2 or 3 players that we said, these are special because they're side-changing players, and there are very few like that in the IPL. And Gautam Gambhir is one, David Warner is one, where you say that, okay, this is a player who can literally change the trajectory of my team.
But even there, you would have said, that's my
limit.
ceiling.
That's my limit, yeah.
Have you noticed one thing?
Yes, sir.
He said KKR, but he's not wearing purple.
And guess who's wearing purple?
But there must be some purple.
Guess who is wearing purple?
It's a dark shade of purple.
I think...
One shot, Mr. Bhogle, one shot,
This is basically, a show of confidence in Gautam Gambhir coming to KKR. He's just...
We'll come to KKR, but I need you guys to fill a few slots. And you guys and girls watching us on Cricbuzz Live can also send in your entries. Let's get you guys to give us who the top 2 picks will be. If the 20 crore figure will be breached, 18.5 was Sam Curran's most expensive buy number so far. Will we go past that 18.5? Will we have a 20 crore buy? Let's put up that graphic. And also, which team will make the highest bid? The number 1 for you, sir. Most expensive pick.
For me, is the pick that I wouldn't make. I still think Mid-Stark would be the most expensive pick. I know there's a new restaurant in town that's offering very good food, where the prices are up, so Gerald Kudzia will get good bids. He's a good player. I can see a couple of teams where he would fit in really well. Mumbai Indians fit in perfectly. Doesn't have to bowl the power play, doesn't have to bowl that much at the end. Come and bowl fast in the middle overs. Will be perfect for teams like those who already have a Bumrah, Pandya, Behrendorff, those kind of players. Yep. But Kudzia and Stark, that's my...
So I definitely, my first pick would be Hasaranga. Definitely, because just he does so many things to so many teams. And if you look at even in SRH, they need him, somebody who's a spinner.
He's already learning Telugu.
There it is. And, just...
He's already learning Telugu.
He's definitely, he's a huge prospect for at least 3-4 teams for me. And the reason why I believe, I would have gone for Stark if Stark's reputation had not preceded him. And also age and reputation are the 2 things I'm looking at and saying that perhaps not Stark. Kudzia definitely, but you're right, Harsha. Kudzia is not a guy who can bowl in all parts of the game. The way South Africa use him, if an international team decides to use him like South Africa uses him, he's not really your death bowler.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that big money for going for somebody who's not a death bowler. So my only thing about Kudzia, even though I've put his name there as well, is that other than Mumbai, how many teams are there who have starting and finishing good fast bowlers and still need an enforcer fast bowler in the middle? I don't know if there are that many. So
GT needs a 2-skill player.
GT is also going to spend the most money apparently on a particular purchase. Did you see on that graphic?
Yes.
Can we have that graphic up again?
Yes, let's put up that graphic.
If we see that graphic up again, who's most likely to make the highest bid? I see GT there.
Yeah, so GT for Kudzia because they need someone to do what Hardik did. So maybe...
Which is the opposite of what I'm saying, is what you think.
Yeah.
Bowl at the beginning and the end and be that fast bowler for them. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what I think they wanted to do with Lockie.
Correct.
And Lockie got injured, played a few games, they went with little, but that's an interesting call. Does Kudzia have it in him to be the beginning and end? If he does, wow, I'd love to see him in the next auction.
And the fact that he is 23 might be a factor as well. He's played in South Africa as well as at the MLC. But the big family drama, not directed by Ekta Kapoor, MI is a team that my heart beats for, but there's been a lot of drama off the field stuff that's been happening. Hardik Pandya was brought in, an all-cash deal, and was announced captain a few days after he was brought in. Fans, as always, have reacted to this emotionally, but you are the voice of reason, so please tell us where we as fans are wrong, Harsha.
A deal that was facilitated by RCB. Without RCB, it would have been very difficult to make that deal.
Yeah, the cap
Mumbai Indians
space,
had 15.75 or 15.25, and the Hardik deal was 15.
Yeah.
You pay make an all-cash deal, you go into the auction with 25 lakhs. So where is that money coming from? Somebody has to go. This is like the Premiership. Somebody has got to go. Would it have been Rohit Sharma? A big buy has to go. So really, Archer was going to go because Archer just keeps having operations and he's now playing for his school old boys team. That's a separate. I thought that was very cute actually.
And bowling spin.
And taking one wicket bowling left-handed. So I thought that's very cute. I think the options they had were sell David and Archer together and create that money. Let Rohit go. Let Green go. I'm only looking at the big name, big value purchases because otherwise you won't be able to fund a 15 crore. So I'm not saying let Rohit go. I'm saying where could the money have come from? And I think RCB wanted a player like that, but they also came in as the White Knight and said, we'll give you 17.5 crores. And here it is, give us Cam Green. Not the greatest of things to happen to MI, let's be honest, losing Cam Green. Because he made 400 runs last year, batted at 3, is a long-term player. But you make these tactical buys. For Mumbai, their biggest challenge is not on the field. It is off the field. Because you have brought in a captain. Now, Rohit would have been told well in advance. So all these mischievous social media posts you can ignore. Rohit would have known well in advance. But does he like it? We don't know. Does Surya Kumar Yadav like it? We don't know. Does Jasprit Bumrah like it? We don't know. Here are 3 senior match winners who are the core of the identity of Mumbai Indians. As is Hardik Pandya. Make no mistake. Hardik Pandya, Karen Pollard, at the core of Mumbai Indians' identity. But he has to ensure that Sky is feeling great about playing. He has to ensure Bumrah is feeling great about playing. He's got to ensure that Rohit is feeling great about playing. So Mumbai Indians' campaign will be as much off the field as on it.
While fans can react emotionally, we're all emotionally invested in this team. But ultimately, it's a private enterprise. So MI are well within the rights to bring in whoever.
See, MI is well within their rights, absolutely. The question is, how does it affect two parts? One is that if I'm Gujarat, if Hardik Pandya comes to me and says, I want to be traded to MI, and I'm not going to be I don't want to play I want to get out next season anyway. I'll say, why would I keep an asset who's currently not interested in playing in me? Okay, that's basically my logic going to be, that what's the point of keeping it? I'd rather move forward and get things, because next year is a big auction. If he decides not to be retained by me, then I have a whole new set of challenges out there.
And also next year I get zero value for him.
I get zero value. This year I get some money which I can use, I can disburse on the table. So that's their side of the thing. The side on the other side is, of course, that very, very big question. The only danger out here is that you have to look at it as a systemic issue and say that if players in the final year of this, suppose a player now in the second year of his contract says, I really want to go to that team. Okay, and comes and tells his management. And this becomes a precedent. Those are the sort of ticklish issues you want to work out for. Because what is the biggest strength of the IPL? Why are all teams profitable? It is because you have an auction, you have a limit of the amount of money cost, and you say, this is what it is. You picked by a team, you play for this team. If you don't, if that team doesn't play you, you can't play anywhere else. And remember, it is the team's prerogative to release or not release in the middle of a contract. Nobody else can do anything about it. So I think those are things that from a management level, you need to look at and think of from a league management level. From the Mumbai Indians, the point is, they were fantastic to reach a semi-final last year. With a team like that they reached a semi-final is fantastic. But Mumbai Indians is a 5-time champion. Reaching a semi-final is not good enough for them. Nothing. They would have been runners-up and it's not good enough for them. They need to be champions. And they're chasing their champions' legacy. Therefore, what happens is stakes increase. So they could win big. It could burst in their faces also. But Mumbai is too big a franchise to play small games and settle for semi-finals. They have to make the gamble for the top.
And they still need a lot of players though.
Yes, they do. But the arrival of Hardik Pandya gives them a very enviable top six. Lots of batting firepower as well. Apart from Jason Behrendorff, they don't have too many other fast bowlers, of course. I'm talking about foreign players. Jasprit Bumrah is there. So you reckon they'll be looking at a solid fast bowler, maybe a Pat Cummins?
Two fast bowlers. They're looking at two fast bowlers because their structure is that the top five doesn't include a single overseas player.
Yeah.
So you got David, maybe Romario Shepherd for him. Shepherd has been hammering England, but that's what all West Indies batters do. When they're out of form, they go and play against England. So maybe Romario Shepherd there,
Yeah.
but they need two fast bowlers and a spinner in this auction. They have Piyush Chawla, who will be the impact sub.
Yep.
They have Kumar Karthikeyan. They want a spinner. They have Shams Mulani. They want a spinner.
Nehal Vadera is there as well.
Yeah.
You reckon they'll go for one Hindu then?
So I think the point is with the pitch they have, they'll first go for a decent fast bowler,
Correct.
and then go for a spinner.
Absolutely.
And I think they'll need a spinner. And given their structure, I don't think they'll need an Indian spinner. So I'm just looking down the list of Indian spinners. Shreyas Gopal is somebody who's has it, but also remember the MI scouting is a very, very good scouting machine. So they might have a spinner just like they unearthed Madwal and Vadera last year.
My gut feel is there is lot 4, which has fast bowlers, and there's some very good fast bowlers in lot 12, I think.
Yeah, a lot of good
Once
Indian fast
4 and 12 are done, they will look for a spinner.
Right. One big name that you think they will definitely go after. Okay.
Kudzia or Cummins. But Kudzia and Cummins come early. There's a lot. And Mumbai Indians have only 15.
Yeah. Kudzia, I think, is in the first lot.
So
And
if the bids start to go north of 10 or 12, 13, they can't afford him with 15 left, is what they have. So they'd like one of those two, but they can't afford him if it goes beyond 12 of them.
Right, on Cricbuzz, we have to talk about food, and so we'll move to the Gujarati Thali. Champions in their first season, Gujarat Titans now without Hardik Pandya, who moved to MI. Shubman Gill has been announced captain. Who are they looking at? Let's take a look at their squad to see how much money they have and the slots they need to fill. The Gujarat Titans, with a brand new captain, they have 38.15 CR left with 8 slots. 15 crore added to their purse thanks to that Hardik trade as well. Now, what are the key positions they are looking to fill? A batting or a bowling all-rounder, perhaps, maybe some fast bowling backup as well, Joy?
Firstly, Sai Sudarshan has solved a lot of problems for them. Sai Sudarshan coming in, being a reliable middle-order Indian batsman or a number 3, number 4 Indian batsman means that it opens up matters for them because that slot is full. What their big challenge is, they like playing Rashid Khan and Noor Ahmed as an impact sub, and foreigner for foreigner, if they can play a foreign fast bowler in foreign batsman in Noor Ahmed's place. Okay, but what you're looking at is, I think they will definitely have to have one more batter out there, international batter in the middle. So they will pick a batter. They definitely need a keeper. Riddhiman Saha is
39 years old.
So they desperately need a
They have a Matthew Wade, but he's an overseas player.
It changes the balance.
So if you want to play Miller and the 2 spinners, then the moment you play Wade, you don't have room for another batter. I am personally very surprised they've gone in with Shubman Gill as captain so early in his career, which is a clear indication they don't see Williamson playing regularly. Where it was a no-brainer to say Williamson will be captain.
I totally agree with you.
But they don't see Williamson playing regularly. So Shubman Gill. My reservations about Shubman Gill as captain have nothing to do with his acumen. His tactical acumen is untested, but he probably possesses it. I just think as an individual, he has so many peaks to conquer still that I think would have been left alone. They would have said, be the understudy this year and your captain, we are retaining you as captain in IPL 25.
I have a question for you though. You're absolutely right. Kane Williamson, but Kane Williamson has been injured almost every year up post that 735 run season. I think that was 2018 or 19. He's been injured every year. And it's just series of unfortunate incidents. If Kane Williamson, let me take Kane Williamson off the table for you, Harsha. Who else can you name as captain in that Gujarat side? Who would you name?
No.
There is no one.
You're only looking at Rashid Khan or David Miller.
Actually, Rashid may not be a bad choice. You're right. Rashid would have been the only other logical choice.
And also guaranteed retention next year. Rashid's not changing any franchise unless he does a Hardik and says, "Mujhe jana hai."
But if they're looking for batting options,
but they need a batter. They definitely need a number 4.
Travis Head then?
Could be Travis Head, could be Rachin Ravindra.
As well, yeah, a left-hander.
Could be one of those there. Also with Saha, he takes away a position that Sai Sudarshan is making his own.
Yeah.
Sai Sudarshan started opening and is opening very well. Left-hander to Gill's right-hander. All works perfectly. But their batting has been fixed by where Saha cannot play. But they're happy with Saha because one good thing with Saha is Saha will never give you 32 of 35.
He will not eat balls. Yeah.
So if he's not scoring runs, he's getting out. So they're very happy with Saha at the top. Sai Sudarshan 3, Miller 5, Tewatia Rashid. They need that 4. They could play an overseas player. They have Williamson. They could go Ravindra. They could go Head. They could go Brook.
Oh yeah, Brook's available as well. But on the keepers, there's Harvik Desai is one name that's being talked about. There's Kushagra from Jharkhand as well. Big hitting wicketkeeper batter, lower down the order. They need an Indian keeper as well.
Yeah, you're right. But see, Kushagra is been a spectacular batsman. He's actually one big in knock. Hard-hitting batsman, but remember one thing. With Rashid Khan and Noor Ahmed, you need a top-level keeper.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, even today, Riddhiman Shah is probably the best keeper to spin in the country. I mean, leave aside the MSD, let's not bring MSD into any of these conversations. But that's my point, that you need a really good keeper. Given the kind of attack you have, you need a really good keeper. And that keeper, I think Desai might be a better keeper.
Yep.
And that might just push it. They might even go for a KS Bharat. But my problem is that a lot of teams have tried KS Bharat. And today as a keeper in a T20 match, if you don't give enough as a batter, you can't play them.
They'll keep him there. They might go for KS Bharat and say, Rehne do, Surat padi do. They might need an all-rounder because unless they bowl Tewatia has bowled 8-9 overs in the last 2 years, but he's bowled a lot in Vijay Hazare.
Yeah.
And done decently also.
The moment you have Rashid at 7, there's no batting after Rashid.
Yeah.
And if there is no bowler in the top 6, which could happen if you take a pure batter, Gill, Sai Sudarshan, Saha, if your number 4 is not a batter, and Miller, if you don't want to bowl Tewatia, then you need that number 4 to bowl a little bit, which suggests a Head or a Ravindra.
Maybe an Arshin Kulkarni kind of name they might go for.
They can pick up all. And let me tell you something. Let's forget the recency bias that Head has made it to a semi-final and a final of an IPL.
Yeah.
But otherwise, Head is very much the kind of player like Gujarat Titans. Because Head is he goes for it, he goes for runs, he plays totally a team game. And again, more and more we're going to talk as we go through the, various teams about their coaching staff and their philosophy.
Yep.
And their philosophy is definitely not a superstar-based philosophy. It's a guys who are completely team-based. Head, I feel, Williamson, they fit into their system. And I feel that typically the New Zealand, Australian kind of cricketers who give their all, they are very much part of the kind of system that they like.
Very quickly.
My only concern is both Head and Ravindra are natural openers. And you don't want an opener. You don't want a top 3 player. So maybe Ravindra or Head. I mean, Head has batted a long time in the middle. They need a number 4.
One player that they'll go after, big.
One of those two.
Okay.
One of those two. They need a fast bowler too, remember.
Yep.
Because the
As
loss
backup for Shami.
Yeah. And Shami is coming off an injury problem, and he's got 5 test matches before. He may not play all 5, but he's got 5 test matches before. So maybe that. Definitely want an overseas fast bowler. They've released Alzari, they've released Odin Smith, they've released Shanaka, they've released Mavi, they've released Yash Dayal,
So possibly
Sangwan, Pandya. Other than Bharat, all the 8 players gone are all seam bowlers.
Yep. So Lockie, maybe Mitchell Stark, Hazelwood, released by
Hazelwood
RCB.
might be.
Yeah, but Hazelwood's only available in early May.
Yeah.
Then they won't. No, but look, they've also done that very successfully. Waited for a guy, bought him in for a while, taken. If you remember, they carried Shanaka last year for at least 3, 4, 5 games. He didn't work out for them, but they played him at 4 for a fairly long time before they decided to go.
Right. So very quickly, one player that they'll go after.
I'll say Travis Head.
Okay, now let's move on to a man who is more like a movie director. Brings in relatively lesser known pieces, makes things work. The Chennai Super Kings, 5-time champions as well. MS Dhoni will be in action in this IPL, but what are CSK thinking? Are they looking at a succession plan as well? They've got 31.4 CR left with 6 slots left to fill. No Ambati Raidu, what's their top priority?
It's a team that's a nice middle-class team that suddenly comes upon an inheritance. saying suddenly I've got 16, 17 crores because
the one big
from
guy.
someone who was not doing anything for me anyway.
Correct.
So बैठे some aunt somewhere has left them 16 and a half crores. Because they don't need that 16 and a half crores. They are 31 crores, but they need a replacement for Raidu.
Yeah.
Deepak Chahar is back is a huge thing because he can bat at 8. So now you have Deepak Chahar, you have Tushar Deshpande, you have Mukesh Chaudhary.
Yep.
You don't really need that big overseas fast bowler.
Yep.
You don't really need that big overseas fast bowler. I believe they will need a backup for Patirana. Patirana under Dhoni, Patirana for Sri Lanka are these identical twins that keep turning up.
Sita and Gita.
Sita और गीता.
मनमोहन देसाई सर फिल्म डायरेक्टर थोड़ा अलग चीज.
But न सीता न गीता न मनमोहन आज के जनरेशन को पता है. But they will want a fast bowler, yes.
Right.
They will look for a fast bowler, and Kudzia plays for Johannesburg Super Kings, plays everywhere. They like the family thing. They say you're with us.
But sir, those two sides are captained by Faf, so maybe RCB is a team that will be interested in.
But if they only need to buy a couple of players, who do they need? They have Chahar back. They need a replacement for Raidu, which will be Shahrukh.
Yeah.
And they need one international quick, maybe an overseas batter. That's all they need.
Yeah.
क्योंकि हमारी पेट इतना ही है हमारा. इससे खुश हैं हम.
Like Shah Rukh Khan has made big money in the past, but he hasn't had a great 2023.
But
does that have a bearing?
They were chasing him until Punjab bought him.
They chased him.
Yeah, but does he excite you? Would you look at numbers this season?
So I just look at it again. I am looking at one Shah Rukh Khan. Let's go back to the thing, because what I'm trying to look at is I want to look at CSK and say, in the untotally situation which no CSK fan wants to talk about, that Dhoni decides to call it a day. Who's my retention next year? So I know Rituraj is a definite retention. Possibly Jadeja. Then if it's Chahar, if Chahar is my third retention, then what I would love to do is, and I like my international players, I like Conway. I'd like to then I wouldn't need anyone who I'm looking at long term. Then I just want somebody this year to fill in a gap and do something for me.
Absolutely. This is not a Jawan or a Pathan or a big multi-star. This is an OTT platform movie where there's a very good director who's picked a very good cast and has got a great storyline. So they will look for players like those.
Yeah.
So they'll look for a Raidu replacement. But that Raidu replacement can bat anywhere because Moeen can bat up, Dubey can bat up, Jadeja can bat up. They need a destroyer of spin because otherwise some of their batters don't have a great record against spin. So that's all they need. They need that one Indian batter. Could even be an overseas batter if they have enough Indian fast bowling. So really they're very well placed in this option.
Moeen, I suppose, first choice when they're playing at Chepauk. But what about their away games? Do they look at another option?
He doesn't bowl, he just plays as a batter.
Yeah. Okay.
No, also that's what I'm thinking. Also what I'm just thinking is, which of these Indian players, like there's Samir Rizvi, there are a lot of really good Indian young kids who are doing really well, Arshan Kulkarni, Samir, which of them is going to be lucky enough to be picked by a Dhoni? Because
like
Hangarkar last year, yes.
And Hangarkar this year, they say the word is he's ready.
Yeah.
No, they didn't play him at all. If you remember, every match we used to say, is he playing, is he not playing? And they said, hold on. Apparently he's finally ready.
Shardul maybe for CSK?
If they've got Chahar back. If Chahar is available regularly, they may not need Shardul. But he's done well for CSK in the past.
Yeah. How about Daryl Mitchell?
Definitely.
Again, a kind of player there.
CSK, yeah.
As an option for
CSK-like.
As an option for Moeen.
Yeah.
Or they could do what they do every time, from the Flintoff time to the Stokes time. Find an English all-rounder to give a lot of money to who won't play.
Who won't play, who won't turn up.
Who won't bat or who won't bowl. One of the two. He can't do both.
Yeah, well, that Ben Stokes exit has enabled them. They've got 31.4 CR left, so one player that they will really, really want to go after.
Actually, I like the idea of them going after Mitchell.
Okay.
They'll want an overseas fast bowler because without Patirana, they might want an overseas fast bowler. I think they'll go after Kudzia or Mitchell.
If he's saying Kudzia, I'll go for Shahrukh. I feel they want to...
You can say same, no? I'll also feel good, yeah. Joy agreed with me.
Okay, moving on from Chennai to a team that comes from the land of Charminar, Mr. Bhogle. We will have the focus.
Your boys.
It's a team that your heart beats for. But sir, they finished number 10 last year. So is बार तो कुछ खास करना पड़ेगा, sir.
See, you must always look at positives in life.
And they are?
If you finish at 10,
you can't
go further.
Not go further. So you are guaranteed a better season than last year, unless they finish 10 again.
Will sound more palatable if it comes to us in Hyderabad, sir.
लेकिन जबरदस्त टीम है बड़े भाई. Actually, if you see last year, I kept saying Sunrisers well balanced, well balanced, well
we all
balanced. I kept
loved the
saying
auction.
well balanced. ये बार भी देखो जबरदस्त है थाली है ये
ज्यादा बदला नहीं उन्होंने सर.
एक dish नहीं है. Now look at if you look at that team in batting order, Abhishek Sharma's had a fabulous Mushtaq Ali.
Yeah.
Rahul Tripathi is always good. His last innings for India was 40 of 20 balls or something.
Yeah.
Mayank Agarwal is worth a good start. Top 3 Indians. Then you got Markram and Klaasen at 4-5. Then you find a 6 maybe, but there is a fabulous player right in the extreme right, number 3 over there, who now also bowls off breaks.
Glenn Phillips.
Is Glenn Phillips, who's
Back up for
always
Harry
plus 10, always plus 10 in the field.
Yep.
He'll bowl off breaks. He's a phenomenal finisher to me. On song, as close as you can get to Sky on his day.
Yeah, they've seemed to have retained their core despite having a disappointing season.
No, I think, again, let me go back to my thing about the philosophy of the team. I think what I really like about the fact was I think Vetteri's come into this team and Vetteri's recognized that they had a good auction last year. They had a good auction. They didn't have a good outcome. They had a good auction. They've held on to their core. Harry Brook, they would have held on to had he been 5 crores less.
Yeah.
The problem with Harry Core was not a question of his talent, it was a question of his price.
Yeah.
Now, what they have is, I think they really need a good spinner. They really need a good leg spinner because leggies are unfortunately something in this format that you require. And I'd be really interested in knowing who they go after because an Indian leggy would give them a bit more variety. But who is there other than Shreyas Gopal?
See, who are their overseas players that they have to play? Okay,
Markram.
Klaasen,
Marco Jansen.
Markram, Jansen.
Jansen.
Yeah.
Right, 3. Phillips, if you want to pick 4.
Yeah.
Right? But their spinners are Shahbaz, who's been traded in.
Yeah.
Washington, who they've had for a while, who can bat at 7.
Yeah.
Or even at 6 with Jansen at 7. But very few teams other than CSK win consistently without a wrist spinner.
Yeah, they'll need a rest.
That is why the name that you took right at the start is the name they're going to empty their account on.
They have a Mayank Markande.
They're Mayank, but
Who actually, throughout, whenever I've spoken to LS, he always says of all the Indian leg spinners, he said Mayank Markande is the best. He's been saying it for 2-3 years. So they could actually use Markande as an impact sub and say we don't need Hasaranga because here's another team with a lot of money to spend with not many spots to fill.
Yep.
So they need maybe a keeper. Why have I said keeper? Because they got Klaasen as their only keeper.
Yep, Phillips.
But Phillips has said he's not going. He doesn't like keeping. He said he gets bored keeping. Wow. 10 balls come behind the stumps in a T20 game, and I'm bored. So he likes. So they might need they might go in for an Indian keeper. The other thing, Joy, is if you look at their Indian fast bowling core, if you look at that, there's Bhuvneshwar Kumar, there's Natarajan, there is Umran Malik. All of them are on the downward slope at the moment.
Yeah,
Bhuvi is still a very good bowler,
actually,
best years behind. Natarajan hasn't done much of note. Umran Malik is exactly where he was 12-18 months ago, has not grown.
And they had Kartik Tyagi, therefore Kartik Tyagi is not an option for them because they've seen him and don't want him.
There was one other, they have Fazal Haq Farooqi if they need.
So. Is Mayank stuck in the wrong team? Do you see him playing?
No, Mayank is, they have to, the thing about this team is how do you play Washington Sundar and Shahbaz Ahmed regularly? Because if you can play those two, they're two bowlers who can also bat.
Yeah.
If you have Marco Jansen, then it gives you that
6, 7,
8, which gives you a brilliant 6, 7, 8.
And then 3,
lot
5.
of flexibility.
What about Mayank?
I feel Mayank is, somebody played 11 crores, they paid 11 crores for him. I still think he's a gun opener, but he just last year was a team where they moved him, he was not confident. I think they were let down not by their auction last year, but by their on-field coaching, and I don't think they were very clear about what they were doing.
Yep.
I think Vettel is a more...
Team like Sunrisers, a lot happens. For some reason, Sunrisers is just becoming a bit of a Punjab Kings. I have nothing against either side, but both teams always look good on paper and have not delivered so far. Sunrisers have to be careful not to go there because under Moody, for example, they made playoffs 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
So they've got to be a little careful about how the sum of the parts resembles. Who would you pick?
Oh, Hyderabad. I'd go for...
Chair पे बैठे हो,
मेरा काम
ऐसे बनाओ.
I'll go for Hasaranga.
क्यों?
Need a spinner, need someone who's experienced, big stage. But I don't know how fit he is. The last he played was at the Lanka Premier League.
In August.
Where he was player of the tournament, I believe. But the word is that he's ready.
I mean,
Should be okay by April.
Once he sees the amount of money he's going to get paid, he will be ready. I promise you, he'll be ready.
March is the miracle month.
Everyone
gets fit.
Everyone gets fit. But who's going to be the double committer for Hyderabad for you?
Asranga is going to go for... They're going to outbid everybody else.
Okay.
Because they have the money and...
Yeah, I agree.
So
I mean,
going
with a
with
team
what
like
choice?
that, with everything else that you have, they don't need to big bid for anybody else.
Yep.
Because remember something, international fast bowlers, you will get. You may not get A, you will get B, you will get C, you will get D. And the difference is not that much. See, again, when you look at, say, fast bowlers or any position, internationally, they're all pretty close to each other. It's very rare that you get a Lasith Malinga or a Chris Gayle or who's so much better than the others that it's worth paying that huge premium.
Yes, Hasaranga part of the Triple H that were released by the Royal Challengers Bangalore, a team in red and gold, and now a bit of green. Cam Green came in from Mumbai, and that's the deal that facilitated the entry of Hardik Pandya, as Mr. Bhogle said at the start of the show. That's where Bangalore are. They need to overhaul their bowling attack. Harsha, Reece Topley is injury prone. They need fast bowlers.
Yeah. Wasn't there a WWE wrestler called Triple H?
Yes. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
So since you know that, just explain why they let go Triple H. Hasaranga, Hazelwood,
And Harshal.
Harshal.
Maybe they weren't
I think
happy with
Harshal Patel was playing for a team at the wrong ground.
Yeah, it's true.
So I can see very good bids for Harshal Patel from Lucknow.
Yeah.
Maybe Kolkata.
Kolkata.
The thing with Kolkata, and we'll talk about it when we get to Kolkata, is Indian team gets the pitches they want, KKR don't get the pitches they want.
Yeah.
If KKR get the pitches they want, they're going to be a good side this year, they'll look for Harshal Patel.
Yep.
I don't see RCB going back to Harshal Patel on that ground. I don't see them going back for Harshal.
But they need support for
They
Mohammad
need
Siraj.
a lot of bowlers.
Yeah.
It's basically like that last test match in Australia, where it was Siraj and whoever else was,
Whoever's
was
fit,
around.
Yeah, Ajao bhai.
See, their big thing is, yeah, absolutely. It's bowlers with Patidar back, their batting is
The
solid.
top six is ridiculously good.
Yep.
The top six is awesome.
Yep, and Lomrod has done it for them this year.
And without Lomrod, also the top six. Have you seen
DK at
the
7.
runs Karthik scored, DK scored? I mean, we all like DK because he sits here.
Yep.
But you see the runs he scored in Vijay Hazare.
And he was really serious about captaining. He was setting out.
Can they get both Stark and Pat Cummins for 23.24? Would they be happy if they got those two? Done, right?
Yeah, the thing is, I've got an EMI. Can I get two fancy penthouses in my EMI?
Yeah.
They could have if they hadn't got green.
Yeah.
So they want Stark, desperately want Stark.
Yep.
But if Stark goes 15, 16, 17, you're 23. So one Stark isn't good enough, especially because Reece Topley is a fine bowler. Sadly for Reece Topley, he gets injured. Things happen to Reece Topley. I mean, how many people get a finger? So very sad. He's a very good bowler. If Reece Topley is available 14 games, it would be different.
Yeah.
But they need 4 or 5 bowlers.
Did they go too far with the Cam Green deal? Because they have only 23.24 left.
So they did, but they regard, again, let's look at this. This is new management, okay?
Yep.
This is now the Andy Flower Mobabat show, okay? Very English team, 15, 19, generational players. They, according to them, think of Cam Green as somebody they'll retain next year.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're looking at that kind of level, retain why? 400 odd runs, can bat up there, can give you 4 overs. You're not still sure where he's going to give you those 4 overs because I'm not sure he can bowl at the death.
I'm not sure. I don't think see if he's giving you 400 runs in the top 6, he doesn't need to bowl.
Yeah, he
if
gives
he
you
can
2
give
overs
you 2
also.
overs, that's fine.
But they hope that he's going to give them 4 overs in time.
Course of time.
And
They're also weak in the spin department because after Chahal's exit, they haven't really had a solid spinner.
yeah, I think
And they let Shahbaz Ahmed
that
go
surprised me a
to
bit, yeah.
Sunrisers.
Shahbaz, I think, Shahbaz was taken by Simon Cartich, okay, which is a previous regime. People looked at it. So they've looked at it, and look, this English team, the way Mobabat and his team look at it, they're very numbers driven. So they'll just look at the numbers and say, this didn't work out for us.
I love the way he said previous stage. Like cabinet change ho gaya, इसके ministers
It is exactly that. It is exactly that. See, the other big thing, and we are not thinking about it now, they need to have a really good result to make sure that Virat Kohli hangs around next year. Because Virat may be very tempted to say, I've given my life to this franchise, I've given 14 years, 15, 16 years to this franchise,
Mic drop.
There is the story of the day from Mr. Bhattacharya. Tung, there's the clanger.
Oh, yes, sir. Chalte hain.
No, because I really believe they have to do something to prove to them that they're serious contenders.
But they
Also,
can't
don't
win
forget,
the IPL with...
Faf wants to play for South Africa. He's not getting younger. He's incredibly fit, but he's not getting younger.
Who's the leader of the
captain?
future?
Who's their captain in IPL 25?
Yep.
Anyway.
They don't have an answer.
They don't have.
And they can't win the IPL with this bowling lineup, can they?
No.
So I think they're going to pick up a lot of Indian bowlers as well. Kartik Tyagi is somebody who might just work for them. There's a Ramandeep saying there are bowlers out there. I think they have to pick Indian bowlers, but also expect 1 or 2 gun international bowlers. They will look at Pat Cummins.
The thing though is in their top 6, they have 5-6 overs. Between Maxwell and Green, they've got 5 or 6 overs in their top 6. And with this, what is that? Get anyone you want. Impact. Huh?
Impact.
Get anyone you
Not a fan, are you?
This impact sub rule, no, I'm not a fan of impact sub. I mean, I can see where the benefits in that the best bowlers are always bowling to the best batters, which is how it should be. But I think cricket over the last 200 years has been a game where you adjust with what you have.
Yep.
Which is something families we grew up in, we understand very well. You make the most of what you have, and there is glory in making the most of what you have. That has been at the core of our sport.
One player they'll go after.
World's biggest open secret.
Actually, I think they're going to go big after somebody like a Pat Cummins as well.
Stark back to RCB?
Stark, of course, Stark. Stark Cummins, one of them they have to take. They will.
What will they do now? Suppose Stark is in lot 4.
Yeah, and
Cummins is gone, Kudzi is gone. You've got 3-4 fast bowlers there. What if Stark comes at the bottom?
it's going to be, I think...
And they've let go 1, they've let go 2, but everybody is holding up money for Stark and they don't get Stark then?
I think that's what they're going to do. If they look and see that Cummins or somebody like that is going, could say Cummins is going 8.5, 9 is going, snap him up, finish it, close it there because...
But
that
3
means
franchises
Stark
want to
is
snap
going
at 8, 8 will become 14.
Right, let's take a long flight from Bengaluru to Chandigarh, Punjab. Now, there is a certain unusual calmness around the Punjab Kings. Is it the Trevor Bayliss, Shikhar Dhawan effect?
Look, yeah, I'm surprised and I'm happy, to be honest with you. I'm really happy because I think they again, the 2 teams who had great auctions we thought last year and the last couple of years and disappointed were Sunrisers and Punjab. Okay, and both, honestly, this year have held on to most of their cards, saying it wasn't the talent was there. We just didn't do it very well. So I think they have a couple of big gaping holes, but otherwise this is a very, very talented team. And Trevor is a long-term player. So if you look at that, I would say definitely a spinner. They need a spinner.
Is this auction more about bolstering the backups, Harsha, for them? Do they have the core ready? Can they have an 11 on the park today?
Shikhar Dhawan hasn't played a game since last IPL at any level. Yeah. Right? So who's their Indian batting? Shikhar Dhawan, Jitesh Sharma, Prabh Simran Singh. Right? They tried Atharva Taide last year.
Yeah.
That's where their Indian batting ends.
Yeah.
Right? So they have to play Livingston, Bairstow, Curran in the top 6-7.
Yep.
They have to. Then they have Rabada or Ellis. So their overseas is already filled. They've got Sikandar Raza have required in between. So their overseas is already outstanding.
Yep.
They have to go big on Indian batting.
Can they have Manish Pandey bat around Livingston and Jitesh Sharma?
Karun Nair, Manish Pandey, all coming early on. My feeling is both Pandey and Karun Nair will go unsold early and will find a buyer.
Yeah, you're right. But there may be some top Indian players that they would be interested in, and that's what I was looking at. Some of those players out there, I mean, really, Sameer Rizvi, for example, UP, okay? Yeah. Big hitting player, and those are the kind of players they need because they need to. The only problem is they need a batsman who can bat long because Jitesh is already their designated finisher. Yep. Karan is somebody who bats at 6 or 7 at his best. He's not a batsman at 4.
And last word on that, what Joy said right at the beginning, they'll need a lot of spinners. Because you're going to play in Lucknow, you're going to play in Chennai, you're going to play in a lot of places that are going to be...
Yeah, and you just have Chahar, you just have Rahul.
Right, very quickly, one player.
Interesting for them. For me, I think it's going to be an Indian batter.
So Pandey, Karun, or maybe an under-19 uncapped
Sameer
player.
Rizvi, Pandey, Karun, somebody they really rate. Remember one more thing. Knowing Trevor well, he'll go for one big international fast bowler, just as a backup for Rabada because...
They've got Nathan Ellis. They've got Nathan Ellis, but I can see where you're going here.
They like their fast bowlers,
And they have the most promising bowler outside the core Indian bowlers
Shivam Mavi?
In Vidwat Kavirappa.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
The
Karnataka,
name that everybody on the Indian circuit is talking about just outside. Prasidh Krishna is the next cab of the rank.
Yep.
And Prasidh Krishna will play the test matches. Red ball is his forte, not white ball, not T20. But Vidwat Kavirappa is the name everyone's talking about. Karnataka are back to the Srinath, Venkatesh Prasad producing fast bowlers era with Vishak Vijay Kumar, Vidwat Kavirappa, Prasidh Krishna. There's a lot of good fast bowlers coming from there.
Right, let's now move to a team that is going to be the busiest. They need to fill 12 slots, of which 4 could be overseas. How much money do they have left? 32.7 left.
I'll just see you in a while.
Harsha, you vote purple today.
Harsha, you and I can go have some chai. Joy, all yours. You can talk for the next 6 minutes and we'll be back.
No, absolutely. I think this is going to be a great auction. The greatest thing is, I personally checked. Gautam Gambhir was there. He's reached.
And he's smiling.
He's smiling. I mean, that is great news. Look, I think it'll make a huge difference to them because I think they've been a bit all over the place in the kind of things they're doing.
Yep.
And I think with Gautam, they'll get some stability back. Gautam is very, very good tactically. He's excellent tactically when he sits on
Built a very good team at LSG that qualified 2 years in a row.
Absolutely.
That made the
And it
playoffs.
was a superb team. And remember,
Yeah.
they were the team that sealed their team before any other team had sealed off. You know, you could look at their first 11 very early. So look, Gautam has some obvious problems. One is that you have to play Gurbaz because you don't have an Indian keeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll definitely need to get a decent Indian keeper in no matter what happens. Their strength is they have a very good, very decent Indian batting side and they have a very good spin attack.
Why do you think they let go of Lockie, Shardul, Tim Southee? Was it about unlocking money?
No, exactly.
It's
How you
price.
see the point is Lockie is a good buy. Shardul is a decent
not
buy
at that-
20
not at that
crores
price.
for those two players, and neither of them. Look at the number of games they played last year. Just look at the number of games. Lockie played 3 or 4 games. Shardul didn't play all the games, and so you have a situation. You cannot be paid 10 crores and be sitting on the bench unless you're injured.
And Joy, other than you, everybody opened for them. But have you noticed, I would like our team of editors to put together Joy clips. Joy talking about Punjab and Joy talking about KKR. Where was he sitting? When he's talking about Punjab, his back feels the chair.
It is here.
When he's talking about KKR, he was almost punching you.
Easier. And decibel levels go up. So from Cricbuzz Live, he suddenly goes to a news channel because the passion is such.
The
but
nation wants to know.
Yes, the nation wants
No,
to
but
know.
we are too well behaved. We are too well behaved to be to be that.
We are good.
They have a fantastic core already.
Yeah.
So if they can get their fast bowlers, they don't even need Jason Roy. I'm telling you, they don't need Jason Roy. You can play Gurbaz and Venkatesh Iyer to open the batting if he's game. Shreyas Iyer 3, Nitish Rana 4, Rinku Singh 5, Andre Russell 6.
You happy with spin? Narayan and Varun?
Varun Chakravarti, Sunil Narayan, Suyash Sharma.
Suyash Sharma has
Yo
had
the
an
overs
outstanding
last
season.
year. All they need is overseas quicks. Are they going to go after Mitch Stark after what happened last time? They went after Mitch Stark. They got Mitch Stark. They're very happy, and then they discover that Mitch Stark is not available, and they've got no one to go and buy. They went and bought Harry Gurney and
How about Chris Wokes?
he's also been KK. But what is Chris Wokes a bowler? Is he a batter in Indian conditions? What does he give you?
Both, I suppose.
Firstly, what is the pitch they're going to prepare? If Gautam goes back and it's KKR with the attack he has, he will get if he can get the pitches he wants, and I think he will, he'll get spinning tracks. Don't be surprised if they go hard after Hasaranga as well. Okay?
Yeah.
Because look, this is Suyash Sharma. What do they also want? Look, what are the odds again? Let's go back to our theory of saying, who are your retention players? So if your retention players, you look at it very carefully. If your retention player is definitely Shreyas Iyer, okay, you're definitely looking at Rinku Singh perhaps for a retention.
Gurbaz?
He's level at, not Gurbaz, not at this level. I think Gurbaz is replaceable. The international name is the problem you have. Andre Russell, Sunil Narayan have had great, they're all KKR all-time greats.
Towards the end of
But would you retain them for another 3 years? You wouldn't. So then you're looking, I would definitely, if I have the money, I'd go after a Hasaranga and say, this is the guy who's going to play for me. Gautam Gambhir is a slow pitch, 160, 170.
In which case, Joy, if I'm guaranteed a certain kind of pitches, I'm going after Harshal Patel.
Harshal Patel, definitely. Harshal Patel is a something KKR will definitely go after.
Yeah.
I'm going at one big overseas fast bowler. I'm going with Harshal Patel. I'm going with the Indian keeper.
Okay, moving on to Ricky Ponting's Delhi Capitals. Rishabh Pant will be back, but we're not sure if he will keep wickets. Are Delhi going to look at buying insurance policies for their first choice players? Because there's Nokia, there is Lungi and Gidi. We don't know the update on Rishabh Pant's fitness. So is this one, Joy, more about getting a certain backup in place?
Yeah, so Ngidi and Nokia were both finalists in the Kane Williamson injury competition because Kane Williamson obviously leads that. He's a lifetime leader. But yeah, they are they definitely need a backup. They need a keeper. If Rishabh Pant is not going to keep, who's going to keep?
There is Abhishek Porel as a backup, but
Earlier was a decent keeper, but they tried him as a bat. I'm not sure they were. Harsha, you had a thought on?
Yes, my theory is their top 4 is outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Pant is good enough to come back and bat at 4. Right? They've got Shaw. Warner, Marsh, Pant. Right? That's their top 4.
Yeah.
5 and 6. Now, because they've got Mukesh Kumar, Ishan Sharma, Khalil Ahmed. Khalil Ahmed is starting to bowl again because we're getting into February, March. So Khalil is starting to bowl again. He's the bowler who has disappointed me the most. Every time I see Khalil Ahmed, I say left-hander. That's the bowler India needs. Yeah. But he doesn't play.
Yeah. So Zach has said exactly the same thing.
But given that they have all those, if Nokia and Ngidi are fit, that's their problem. Both Nokia and Ngidi are not fit. If they are fit, they can go in for a overseas big hitting wicket keeper at 5 and 6.
Josh Inglis maybe.
Why have they let go Phil Salt? So it's all, the decks are being cleared for someone like that. There is a Sam Billings around who can bat in the top 5 finish. I think they're going after Josh Inglis. Is Ganguly running that side? Is Ponting running that side?
It's his birthday.
It's much like, is Gautam running that side? Is Gautam running that side? Is Pandit running that side?
I think it's...
So I think there's a big hitting overseas wicketkeeper that is top of their list at 5 and 6. They have enough spin. They'll need an all-rounder at 6 and 7.
Right. Very quickly, let's move on to the Royals from Rajasthan. They've got 9 slots to fill, 4 of which can be overseas. 14.5 CR left only.
Yes, it's an English club.
Reckon,
Sorry, Joy, you can...
I've only got one line. Be desperate? Are they not a settled unit already?
They are. It's an English club that's waiting for an English batter.
He's
apparently a buyer as well.
Harry Brook. The only problem is if Brook and Butler leave you in the last 2 weeks, because England is the only team that's not confirmed their players throughout the IPL.
Yeah.
So it depends on when the IPL ends. But if Butler and Brook are going to leave, you can't have 2 leaving. But otherwise, it's all set for Brook to play. With Riyan Parag being back in form, Hetmeyer, Parag 5-6, top 6 fills itself. They're going Brook.
Maybe Riley Russo is an option? Rachin Ravindra?
They will need an option. Rachin Ravindra is actually not a bad
Very good option.
Given the fact that they have big pitches, they play spinners, again they prefer spinners. I actually liked them bringing in Avesh Khan because obviously they were not getting enough value out of Devdutt Padikkal. I think Avesh Khan is a very important, they played around with their Indian seamer for a long time last year. If Avesh is fit, and he looked fit in South Africa.
It's the perfect both sides win-win deal. Win-win deal.
Absolutely.
You want an Avesh Khan that takes away the pressure of an overseas fast bowler.
Yeah.
KL Rahul is not going to bat as an opener. So Devdutt Padikkal goes as opener. Rahul bats in the middle for LSG. It was a beautiful win-win trade. I think they need an overseas backup for Trent Bolt.
I agree.
Who could that be? Darshan Shanaka?
Whoever. There's loads going around. Because Bolt is not an all-rounder.
No.
Madhu Shankar?
They'll go for Madhu Shankar.
They've let go of Jason Holder, so are they looking at a 2 utility player as well?
Yeah. They're like the Indian team. Top 6 bat, bottom 5 bowl, and never the twain shall meet.
Yeah, they just really need all-rounders because if they want to change that around, because if one of their batsmen is not doing too well and they need to change that around, they need all-rounders.
Yep, let's take a look at the squad to see if there is anything else that we need to talk about. A very varied bowling attack as well. There's so much variety. There's Ashwin, there's Chahal, Kuldeep Sen, Avesh Khan. There's a fair
bit of variety. They can play an all-India bowling lineup.
Yeah.
All-Indian bowling lineup. They need to play Butler, Hetmeyer, Bolt. There is room for that overseas player there, either all-rounder or batter. I think Parag this year will finally be that all-rounder.
Right. He's had a brilliant
season.
One player. Harry Brook, maybe?
I would still say stay with Harry Brook. I'd say an English player. They might go after Salt also just as a bat.
Yeah.
But
Brook, Ravindra, Head in that order.
All right, now time for team number 10, the Lucknow Super Giants. What do they have to look for? They've got 13.15 CR left only. That's the least that any of the teams have, and they need to. They could fill 6 slots. Now they released 8 players. Lucknow, what are they looking at? What's the thought behind releasing 8 players? None of those can claim to be first choice 11 players.
So no, exactly. And first, look at the trade. The trade was important. I was actually surprised. The only surprise for me was releasing of Romario Shepherd, because I thought Romario Shepherd was somebody who has serious potential and exactly the player. He's a very Gautam Gambhir kind of player. But this is now a Justin Langer team.
Yep.
And I'd be very interested.
So maybe Dan Sams then.
Daniel Sams is...
The Australians like to pick Australia.
Yeah, Australians do like
I've seen that.
And that list is a pretty long list. They need an Indian fast bowler as well. They need a backup Indian batsman as well. Those are the 2 big things for them. Because remember, they thought Jaydev Unadkat would do very well on the pitches that they have.
Yep.
But it hasn't really worked out for them.
So maybe a Karthik Tyagi, maybe a Chetan Sakaria as well. But before we go to the bowlers, KL Rahul has said that he'll be batting at 5. So what happens to their...
Or 4. I think 5.
Or 4, yeah. So what happens to their opening?
Padikkal opens with De Kock.
Yeah.
Padikkal, De Kock. Then they've got Stoinis. They've got Huda. They've got KL Rahul.
Yep.
So actually, my gut feel is LSG will take as much part in this auction as we will. They'll be watching. They'll watch.
Aram se.
They want an Indian fast bowler because they've let go Avesh.
Yep.
The big news for them is Mohsin Khan is back and bowling well. He's a fabulous bowler. If he can give them 14 games, nothing like it. So they've got Mohsin Khan. They've got Wood. They've got the spinners. So they've got
They've got Mishra and Bishnoi.
And Pandya, Krunal Pandya.
And Krunal Pandya as well.
So it's a team that's pretty ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just
Which
looking
is
at
exactly
backup.
what we said. This Gautam Gambhir put together a really good squad. They've qualified 2 years in a row. Now they need maybe just someone that will extend to let them win.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what
One of a bowler.
Do you like the idea of KL Rahul not opening, coming in at 4 or 5? And would the Devdutt Padikkal deal have been done because he decided to come in?
Very much like the idea of KL Rahul being in the middle in ODIs and Test cricket, not so much in T20s. But I don't know.
He's clearly eyeing the World Cup, isn't he?
I think that's what. I think he's eyeing the World Cup. He's also, I think, this is a side. Remember one thing, it's a team in transition because you've had a team picked by A, okay, with a certain philosophy, and now B has taken over. Now, B has taken over, the captain comes and says, I want to bat in the middle. You're not going to say, no, you're not going to bat in the middle because you're still absorbing what this team can do or not do. So I think they're work in progress. I think they really need a backup for Mohsin because I think he's a fantastic bowler, but he's injury prone.
Yeah.
So Karthik Tyagi is one of the people I'd look at again. UP kid does well. Again, I really like Mushir Khan. I like Samir Rizvi. These are kind of players that will be useful for them. And just start building their Indian core again and let's see where they go with.
By the way, we haven't spoken about Chetan Sakaria. The Chetan that's been called for a suspect action is not Sakaria. There was a clarification from the BCCI because I think the Gujarat Cricket Association wrote to the BCCI. So it's not that Chetan. I hope the teams have made note of that as well.
And he hasn't played a lot.
Yeah.
But he's very good to have on the slowish, sluggish surfaces. If that's what they're going to have, if that's what they're going to have again over there, they will need elite honesty as well. With Justin Langer there.
Correct. And I just hope he smiles a bit more, doesn't...
Come on, he's taken over from Gautam Gambhir. Smiling is not in the... KRS does not have smiling out there.
You know, Justin Langer's got a very good cricket mind. I know Justin well. He's got a good cricket mind. I worked with him a lot in England during the World Test Championship. But he's way too intense. He just needs to chill a little bit.
Yeah. Maybe he will with some lovely food there in Lucknow.
No. Food in Lucknow means the rest of the day is gone.
Correct.
You sleep.
Go take a nap. Let the players handle it. The first set of players that will come up randomly are called BA1. That's the batters first. I believe Harry Brook is part of that category. A mix. In fact, take a look at the base fight. It's a good mix as well. So there is this word that Steve Smith may go unsold. Joy, are you...
I'm saying Steve Smith, Karun Nair, Manish Pandey. At least 3-4 of them might go unsold.
In the first slot?
In the first slot. I think only Travis Head and Harry Brook are probably sure of being sold.
Robin Powell's had a great season. If someone wants that batter that we talked about, say RR want that kind of batter. If they think I can't get Harry Brook, they might look at Robin Powell who can also give them an over or two.
Yeah.
So I don't see big bids going for Rovman Powell.
Yeah.
But if RR don't get Brook, they might say, I don't know what Ravindra, they might put in a bid.
Are you surprised that Riley Russo has put himself in the 2 crore bracket?
So no, see, remember 2 crores depends on two things. One also is that Riley Russo is also a pretty decent county player.
Yeah.
So sometimes if you put your bid at 50 lakhs and you actually get picked to play the IPL, you actually lose money because you can't finish your county commitment. So a lot of English players and players who play regularly in England put themselves at a particular price only to make sure that, because if they go below that level, they're actually losing.
Yeah. Look, Riley Russo plays very good cricket all around the world, but he's been in the IPL for a while. And he's been released 2 or 3 times. So I don't see people going for Riley Russo.
Travis said a part of that group as well now. Should or would the World Cup performance have an impact? Always does, right?
Recency impact.
But here, I mean, the conditions are going to be the same. The format is different. Should they look at Travis Head differently?
Travis Head is a gun batsman. Okay, he just happened to have a good World Cup, but he's a gun batsman otherwise.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that he is what they call, he's like a destroyer up front. He's a marauder. He'll go after your best bowler. He'll attack your best bowler. He's that kind of player. He won't come off every day. I mean, he had a great semi-final and final. He won't come off every day. But Travis Head is the kind of player, every team covets a player like that because he put the opposing team in the defensive.
Occasionally 2 overs and takes catches that break countries' hearts.
It's not even been a month.
Don't talk about
it's
that.
not even been a month. In fact, it's been exactly a month. Yeah, well, at this time, we were at the toss when...
and you were waving a flag in the stands.
I was waving a flag, bought expensive tickets, but we won't go there. It's the IPL auction today. Is there a player that did not do well at the World Cup that could be backed if he is fit and ready?
I don't see why the World Cup should have such a big impact because 50 overs cricket has started going towards long form cricket rather than a long short form game.
Yeah.
So I don't see why 50 overs cricket should mean that much to a T20 auction.
I totally agree with him because I was just looking at it. The map between 50 over and Test cricket is a far bigger overlap than between 20 over and 50 over.
Yeah. Let's quickly remind ourselves of how things stand for all the 10 teams. KKR need 12 players. Gujarat with the highest available purse.
Let's say KKR can
fill 12. They don't need 12. They don't need to have 25 in that squad. Gujarat have 38.15. Lucknow can maybe sit back 13.15. As many as 77 slots can be filled. A random prediction, Harsha, which is the one team that will come out smiling at the end of the first set?
The reason I'm smiling is I wanted to sledge Joy. You think they'll buy Pat Cummins for 17 crores?
No, I don't think they'll buy.
Which team will come out smiling? Look, there isn't a team that you can look at here and say weak.
Yeah.
But if RCB can get their bowlers, RCB could smile. If DC can get... So it'll really be about slots. A player who's invaluable to one team doesn't mean anything to Joy smiling. There's a line coming.
No. I'm just saying, knowing auctions and knowing how it works, okay, every team comes out smiling, thinking they've got the best things.
And then
and if they've not got players in lot one, they'll say, "Arey, we've saved our money."
Still be smiling.
Yeah, they'll be smiling. So
it's like Rohit saying, "I would have also batted. I would have also batted first at the toss."
Every team at the end of an auction, and most of them feel that way. Say, "Yaar, kya team kharida maine?"
And then reality dawns on them.
So on some of them, the rest of them actually.
But they all have defined slots to fill. As I said, a player who's invaluable for one franchise actually may not be very useful to another because that
totally
category has already been filled with them.
Joy, rookie question. What's easier, mini auction or a mega auction?
A mini auction is easier, simply because the number of variables are less. A lot of your stuff is fixed. Mega auction, you fixed only 4. So the number of people you need to fix, therefore the number of calculations are much more in a mega auction.
The other thing is a mini auction inflates valuations that make very, very good players who've been retained after having been bought in the main auction.
Yeah.
I asked our producer to see how many people on paper are earning more than Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah.
And that's a huge list. Jasprit Bumrah comes into this auction. We are talking 17, 18 crores for Stark.
Yep.
Where's Bumrah, where's Stark in the IPL?
Yep.
No comparison.
18.5 CR, the highest that was for Sam Curran. Will that be breached? We'll find out. We're just seconds away from the start of the IPL 2024 mini auction. Good luck to Malika Sagar as well, who is the first woman.
Good.
Yep, well done.
Excellent.
To get an Indian name, a woman who is about to...
We will get all player names pronounced correctly, hopefully.
Correctly. Hangargekar.
And it's not a crime not to be able to put it's not like a big deal. I pronounced Hunger Gaker. That's his name. If your name is
part of our job, so-
Labush Kakni.
Yep.
Yeah.
So good luck to Malika Sagar as well, who will become the first female auctioneer for the men's IPL auction. Enjoy the auction, and Joy Bhattacharya, Harsha Bhogle, and I will be back at the end of the first set. Do join us on Cricbuzz Live then. Bye for now.